Howdy cowboys and cowgirls, I'm Cowboy Jack, and today I'm really excited. We're gonna do something really fun. Do you see where we're at today? That's right, we're at Code Ninjas in the Woodlands, Texas. We're gonna learn all about coding and what coding means. I really don't know too much about coding, but apparently that means working with computers to tell them what they need to do. So we might make something really cool like a video game or something. You guys wanna check it out? Come on, let's go. All right, this is gonna be a whole lot of fun. Wow, look at this place. This is fantastic. So this is actually called a dojo because today we're code ninjas. And everything we do here is kind of coded like a martial arts system. So when you start in the system, you're a different belt color. Today, Cowboy Jack's a white belt because that's the lowest on the totem pole. But if I tried really hard, I might work my way up all the way to a black belt, like Chuck Norris or somebody. Wow, come on, well, let's go meet our sensei. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Cowboy Jack.
I'm Sensai Allyson, nice to meet you.
Sensai Allyson, that's so cool. Wow, well, thanks for having us here at the dojo. That's so exciting.
This is it.
Wow, what a great room, guys. Take a look all around. So many cool activities and things to look at. But what exactly do we do here at the dojo?
So here at the dojo, we learn how to code, how to program, and we specifically make video games.
We make video games?
Yeah.
Like video games we could actually play?
Yeah, we're gonna do that today.
Boy, that's really cool. Hey, what's this thing moving over here?
So this is a 3D printer. Right now we are printing a snowman and a snowflake, but
Wow.
be careful, it's really, really hot.
Guys, get in there and get a real good close look at that machine working.
Right now it's running at 235 degrees Celsius.
235 degrees Celsius. Do you know what that is in Fahrenheit?
Not a clue.
I don't either. We'll have to look it up. I'll be sure to put that in the video. But boy, did you actually write the program to build this snowman?
I did.
That is so unique and really, really cool. All right, well, wow, you said something about making a video game. So how do you do that?
So today we're going to use a simple block coding program.
Block coding program. So I guess we're going to build with blocks?
We're going to build with blocks.
Okay, where are they?
Right over here.
Wait a second, they're inside the computer?
They're inside the computer.
Okay, well, here we go.
So you can have a seat. You're going to be doing the building today.
Whoa. Okay, so as a code ninja, I'm actually using the skills that my sensei teaches me to build something like an actual video game. That's so neat.
That's right.
Wow, well, Cowboy Jack is kind of a dinosaur at computers. I'm not very good at it, so hopefully this isn't too hard.
All right, let's get started.
Okay, let's do it.
So today we're going to make a catch game.
A catch game?
Yes, stuff is going to be falling from the sky, and you're going to program it to do so.
Wow.
Yeah, and then you're going to program another object to move with the keys, the left and right arrow, back and forth.
Okay. That sounds like really challenging, but I'm glad I have a good sensei like Miss Sensai Allyson here with me.
Okay, so first thing we need to do is put something in our game. Our screen is pretty blank right now, so to add a sprite, which is just a fancy word for game object, we're going to click the cat in the bottom right corner.
The cat in the bottom right corner. This cat right here?
That cat.
Okay.
And you need to pick something that's going to fall from the sky. You can scroll up and down. There's some categories at the top.
Wow, there's a lot of things to choose from. I really love dogs, so it'd be really fun to use a dog. Do I just click on him?
Click on him.
Well, that was easy.
That was easy. So we see on the right our game screen, our game stage. The dog is just sitting in the middle doing nothing because we have to program him to do something. So the first thing we're going to do is tell him to go to the top. What I need you to do is look over here. We need an event. Events start our code. Our code won't run unless there's something causing it to run.
Okay.
So we'll click on the events section on the far left.
Events right here. Wow, events. Click right on that.
So the event we want to start our code is when we click the start button, start the game. So we need this flag block. Our start button is this little flag over here.
Okay, so click here.
Click and drag it out into our space. Our space right here, you can see the tiny dog in the corner. That means this is the code for our dog.
Okay.
So drop it out there anywhere.
All right.
All right, we have an event.
Look at that, guys. I'm coding. That's so cool.
The next step is we're gonna tell it to go to a random position, and luckily there's a block for that. So go over to the motion section on the left, the very top.
Let's see, guys. Where am I? Like I said, I'm not. Oh, motion. There it is.
Perfect. And now we need to find the go to random position, and we're just gonna drag it out, and it'll snap right underneath.
Oh, you need it to go underneath?
You need it to go underneath.
Whoa, look at that. Those are the blocks that she was talking about. We're building a game.
So before we go any further, let's go ahead and test our game.
Okay, let's test it. You guys ready to test it? I love games.
The event that starts our code is clicking the flag, so let's go ahead and do that.
Click this flag here?
Mm-hmm. Your dog should go to a random position. You can click it again a couple times, make him jump around.
Look at that dog. He's moving all over the place.
But we also want him to go to the top of the screen, not just anywhere randomly. So we're gonna have to set his Y position. Now, we're not gonna get too far into math today, but our screen is a coordinate plane, which is just two number lines put together, intersecting.
I think I know this one.
Okay.
So there's a Y-axis and an X-axis.
Perfect,
right?
exactly.
And so guys, it's just like the plus sign. The part going horizontal like this is our X-axis, and up and down is our Y-axis. And so there's a grid system, and everywhere on that grid coordinates with where it is on the screen. That's so cool.
Exactly.
See, I know something about
know
coding.
some stuff.
I surprised her.
Believe it or not, coding is a lot of math, but.
Ooh. Hey, math can be really, really fun, and that's what we're learning about. I mean, Cowboy Jack isn't the best at math. Everybody knows that. But when we put it to good use like this, it can be a whole lot of fun and really entertaining.
It's probably the best math you'll ever do, right here.
I think so. So what do I need to do to move the X-axis?
We're going to, we're actually going to set it at the top of the Y-axis. And the top of our Y-axis is 180. So we're going to scroll through our motion blocks and find one that says set Y2.
Set Y2.
Exactly. We're going to drag it out, drop it right underneath. And right now it's at 131. So you could test your code and it would set it almost at the top, but not quite.
Okay.
He's kind of there, but
Yeah,
we want him off
close.
the screen a bit more. So let's go ahead and set it to let's do 180.
Okay. Well, see, I'm just going to use this number pad here and type in 180 because that's 180.
If you hit enter, now try and run your code. He should move up just a little bit.
Whoa.
His
See
little
him?
paw.
We're just checking out Mr. Doggy's paw. I think we need to name that dog. What do you guys think his name should be? I mean, my name's Jack. Let's call him Jack the dog.
Okay, you can actually name your sprites in here. So if you go right here to where it says dog 1, you can type in his name.
Okay, well, check this out. So another really important skill to have is typing. And I know when I was in school, I took a keyboarding class, so I can type really good even without looking. I'm gonna type in Jack. Jack the dog, look at that.
Amazing. So we're actually gonna start another block. This one is a little more complex than the last one, but don't get stressed out. We're gonna go through it piece by piece.
I'm not worried. I've got a really good sensei with me.
Thank you. So we need another event, the same event as last time. We need a start when flag clicked block.
Okay, look at that. I'm kind of an expert at coding right now.
You absolutely are. Next, we need a forever loop. And what this is gonna do is loop our code forever. And that is actually gonna be in control.
Forever.
Mm-hmm. And the first thing we want inside our forever loop is we want him to forever fall down. So to fall down, we're gonna change along that Y-axis we talked about earlier.
Okay.
So we need to change Y by, which is a little different than the last one.
That's an event?
It's in motion.
Motion, I was so close. Where did we hide our motion? Right here.
So instead of set Y by, which is kind of teleporting our dog to the top, we're gonna change Y by.
Okay.
Perfect.
Where does this guy fit?
Right inside
there?
the forever block.
All right.
And then we actually need a negative value or a negative number in there, a minus number, some of my kids call it.
Okay. What size negative number are we talking?
Whatever you put here is the speed that your dog is going to fall. So let's start with like -5.
I don't want to make a game that Cowboy Jack can't play.
So if you want to run your code right now, you'll see he's falling forever, but we have a problem.
Uh-oh, what's the problem?
he doesn't go back to the top unless you click the flag again.
Okay.
So we need to add more to this block.
Okay.
This time we need another loop. This one's a conditional loop, and it basically loops your code if something happens. So if he reaches the bottom of the screen,
he'll come back up to the top?
Go back to the top. That's what we're gonna write. So we need to go into control and find an if-then block.
If-then.
And it's gonna go right underneath your change y by. Perfect. So now we're gonna do a little more math. We need an operator to compare our y position of the object to the bottom of the screen, which is a -170. So let's start with an operator. Do you know what an operator is?
Like back in the old days when we used to call 0?
Yes, exactly.
You guys don't know anything about operators. We don't have those anymore because we use cell phones. Nobody even has landlines anymore. We used to have these phones with these long curly cords on them, and Mom and Dad would yell, "Get off of the phone!" Well, never mind. I'm showing Cowboy Jack's age. You probably didn't mean that by operator.
That's not what I meant.
I was so close. Okay, what do you mean by operator?
So an operator, in this case, we're going to be using the alligator symbol, some kids call it, or the greater than or less than symbol.
Okay.
Do you know that one?
I know greater than or less than.
Okay, so let's go find a less than symbol.
Okay.
That's the alligator that opens to the right.
Right here, this guy, right?
Yes, and it's going to snap right in between if and then. So.
All right.
There you go. And there's actually a block that tracks our dog's Y position. So we go back to motion, find the tiny round block that just says Y position.
All right, that's this guy.
Perfect. It's going to go on the left side, on the smaller side of the alligator symbol. So now we need to put in the value that is equal to the bottom of the screen. So the top of our screen was 170. The bottom of our screen is going to be -170.
Okay. -170. That's 170. Okay.
So all we've done so far is set up our condition, or what needs to happen for our code to run. What we want to happen when our code runs is actually what we programmed in the first block. We want it to go to a random position at the top. So we could go over to this block here, our random position, down a little, right click, and hit duplicate. Actually, you have to click on the go to, not the drop down box.
Okay.
Right click is the click we don't normally use.
sorry. Duplicate.
There you go. So duplicate, that's gonna duplicate our blocks we already coded, and I want you to put that inside our if-then statement. And what that's gonna do is, if it reaches the bottom, it sends it back to the top. So
Can I click the flag and see what he does? All right, guys, well, if I did this correctly, which I'm hoping I did, our doggie's gonna fall from the top, and when he reaches the bottom, he'll come back up to the top in a different spot.
So hopefully.
Ah, look at Jack the dog moving all around the screen. That's really cool.
So now we need something to catch our dog.
Okay.
So we need to add a new sprite.
Okay.
Do you remember how to add a new sprite?
Give me a second, right here.
Yes, we click on the cat at the bottom.
All right, guys, well, let's pick what's gonna catch Jack the dog. Let's see. Wait a second, a big bowl of cheese puffs? Are you kidding me? That'd be really fun to catch him in. Cowboy Jack loves cheese puffs, and so does Cowboy Caden.
So let's drag the cheese puffs to the bottom of the screen, to their starting position.
All right.
Perfect. So we're gonna, if you've noticed now, the cheese puffs is really tiny and faint in this quarter. That means we're now coding the cheese puffs.
We're working in the cheese puff area.
If you wanted to switch back, you just click on the dog.
So here's the dog part right here, and now we're in cheese puff land. Cheese puff land looks kind of blank. I think we need to do something with it.
You know what? We could add a background before we start coding this. Would you like to add a background?
Absolutely, that'd be really cool.
So at the bottom right corner, next to the kitty cat, there's a backdrop button. Click that, and it'll give you a bunch of options to choose from.
Ooh, look at that, guys. There's a whole bunch of different backdrops. Well, this one looks kind of westerny. That's kind of cool. But this one's a farm. I think we got to use the farm, right? Look at that. Little Cowboy Jack the dog is falling into cheese puffs right on the farm.
So the first thing we need to do to our cheese puffs is make them move. But we want them to move when we press the keys.
Okay.
And we'll get to that more later, but let's go ahead and set up our event and our loop. So our event is the same as always. We're going to be using a lot of those flag blocks today.
So
drag and drop that out there.
all right.
And we need another forever loop because we want it to forever sense that we're pressing those keys. All right, we need 2 if-then blocks. One for if we're pressing the right key, one for if we're pressing the left key.
Does it go inside here?
Goes inside it, and the next one's gonna go inside it as well, but not inside the if-then, right underneath. It's down a little, right there.
Okay, we got 2 if and thens. And that's really cool. If you think about it, if and then is like talking about things in motion or rules or whatever. Like if you eat all your vegetables, then you might be able to have a cookie. Or if you try new foods, you might get to, I don't know, find a new toy, something like that. There's a lot of if and then scenarios, but this is teaching the cheese puffs what they're gonna do.
Exactly. So now we need to go into our sensing blocks and find one that senses our keys. Sensing blocks on the left, it's the light blue.
Okay.
And we're gonna look for one that says key. It might not say the key we want, but we can change the key. So if you go back up a little bit,
whoops.
You passed it actually. Oh, not that
okay,
far.
whoops, I'm getting
So yeah,
crazy.
they all scroll together. That's something that I could have told you at the beginning, but you figured it out. So scroll down a little more.
Oh, sensing keys, here we are.
Sensing. So right here it says key space pressed. So if we drag and drop that into the if then, it's gonna sense if the space bar is pressed, but that's not the key we want. So go ahead and click the drop down.
Okay.
And right and or left arrow. We're gonna need one for each of them. Perfect. So go ahead and grab another one and put it in the next block so we can just have them both set up.
Whoops, didn't put it in the right place.
And this one will be a left arrow.
Look at that.
Okay, so far we've been working with the y-axis. We're actually gonna work with the x-axis this time and make our dog move left or right.
Thank goodness. I feel like we've been giving the y-axis all of the attention.
We have.
You don't want to get that y-axis a big head. You got to give everybody a little bit of attention.
Very true. So let's find the change y by. Oh, excuse me. The change x by.
All right, let's find the change x by.
It's gonna be up in motion.
Okay.
Very top. Change x by.
All right. Put here?
One in each, and one of them's gonna be a negative value and one of them's gonna be a positive value.
All right. So should we put...
So you can leave it at 10. 10's a good speed, but I will say if you change that one to a negative, it's gonna move backwards. So we wanna do the negative value on the left arrow because if you think about a number line, to the left is towards 0. To the right is higher up on our
Yeah,
number
that
line.
makes sense. When you're looking at our x and y axis, this over here is negative and this over here is positive, right?
Yes.
X and y. All right, well.
So we can leave the first one as 10 and we'll just change the bottom one to negative 10.
All right, I can do that.
You can test it out and tell me if we need to change them. So you'll have to hit stop and then the flag again to run our code and then use your arrow keys to see if your cheese puffs move.
Whoop, look at that, I'm moving the cheese puffs. That's crazy. I can move these cheese puffs all over the place. Whoops, I missed Cowboy Jack the dog.
So our dog is moving down. Our cheese puffs are moving left and right. Now we need some sort of interaction between the two objects. Luckily, there's a block to sense when those two sprites are touching, and that's what we're gonna use next.
Okay.
This is our last big set of code we're gonna write today. So
okay. Whew, thank goodness,
I know,
because this code has been a little bit tricky.
It's a little tricky.
I mean, the system makes it really fun, and I'm glad that we've made this really cool game. I even got to put the farm in the background for little Cowboy Jack the dog. It's so cool. All right, sorry, I got off on a, whew, I'm never gonna make black belt like this. I need to listen to the sensei.
Okay, so we actually need to click on our dog because we're gonna write the code in the dog and sense when it's touching the cheese puffs. We need a flag block as always. You won't always use the flag block, but for this game, they're keeping it pretty simple. So in events, drag the flag out. We don't want it to touch the other blocks. If it does, it's not a big deal. It won't snap anyways.
Can it be down here?
Down there's perfect.
Okay.
And we need a forever loop to forever sense, and that's gonna be in control. And then We need an if-then block to sense if it's touching the bowl, then run our code. Exactly. And then we go into sensing one more time. And there's one for touching. It's at the very top. Right now it says touching mouse pointer. We're gonna change it in a second. If you click the drop down, you'll see there is Cheesy Puffs. They've already put it in there for us.
Look at that. If touching the Cheesy Puffs, then what do we need to put down here?
All right, so we have our Cheesy Puffs moving with the keys and our dog continuously falling from the sky. We need some sort of interaction here between the dog and the Cheesy Puffs. What exactly do you want to happen when they touch one another?
I mean, Cowboy Jack the dog is really cool. I hear he's got a really funny bark. Can we make him bark when he touches the Cheesy Puffs?
We can make him bark.
That's so cool.
So let's go into sound real quick.
Okay.
And you see this start sound, dog 1. We're gonna drag that in, but I will tell you, it's gonna do something weird when we put it in, so just be ready. Go ahead and try to start your code and test it out. So what's happening here, let me turn it up, is it's continuously touching our Cheesy Puffs.
So it's starting over and over and over.
So it's playing the dog bark over and over. It kind of sounds like a growl.
He is growling. Hey, calm down, Cowboy Jack.
So to change it from a growl to a bark, we need to take those blocks from the beginning, the go to random position, and set Y to 180. Right click on the go to, duplicate it, put it right underneath our dog 1 sound. Underneath, there you go.
Okay.
And now, whenever he barks, he'll get sent back to the top. It'll only run that code 1 time. Oh, we have to hit stop and then start
Oh,
again.
yeah. Whoops. Oh, look at Cowboy Jack. He's diving into those Cheesy Puffs. Okay, enough playing around. Let's see if our code works. There it is. He's got a really fierce bark. That's cool. Look, it's kind of hard to catch that little rascal. Okay, you guys get it right. One more for good measure. Okay.
So you said one more for good measure. Let's go ahead and add a counting system, a score to our game.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, it's always good to keep score. That lets us know if we're doing good, right?
Exactly.
All right.
So we need something called a variable
Okay.
to keep track of our score. A variable is something in our game that changes. You might have heard it in like science experiments or in science class, or you have variables or things in the experiment that change.
Absolutely. Kind of like when we were building our lava lamp, the more Alka-Seltzer we put in there, the more bubbly it got. And that's a variable. If you just put in 1, it would only bubble a little bit. You put in a whole tablet and it really gets to bubbling. That's kind of like
similar.
the variable.
Yeah, very similar.
That's a better example than I've used already today.
So now we need to go into variables on the left. It's the darker orange.
Okay.
And we're gonna click the button at the top that says make a variable. It's gonna ask us to name it. Anything we write here is gonna show up on our screen as what we're counting. So dogs, points, score, whatever you wanna put, we can put there.
Why don't we call it Cheese Puff Wins?
Cheese Puff wins, I love it.
Whoops, I can't type very good today.
And you'll just hit OK. And we're actually gonna modify the block that is already there, the one we just made. There's blocks over here on the left. We have set Cheesy Puff wins to 0 and change Cheesy Puff wins by 1. We can set it to 0 at the beginning and then change it by 1.
Okay.
When those two objects touch one another. So
Okay.
to set it to 0 at the beginning is super simple. You'll just grab set Cheesy Puff wins and put it at the top of any of the blocks, really. The very top, right underneath the flag. So when we click the flag, the first thing it does is set it to 0.
Okay.
And then we want to change Cheesy Puff wins by 1. And we want to do that when
Whoops.
we want to do that when our Cheesy Puffs are touching our dog. So let's do it right underneath the dog sound. So it'll play this sound, change the score, and set it back to the top.
All right, let's see if we're keeping track of Cheesy Puff wins now. Oh, look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, this one's far. 10. Wow, that was really cool.
It
Wow.
is cool. But right now we have an infinite game. You could sit and catch as many cheesy puffs as you want forever and ever.
I mean, that sounds like a pretty good time to me. But we also, I mean, there has to be an end to the game, right?
Exactly. We're going to code an end to the game.
Okay, well, let's code in the end game.
So to do that, let's just keep it simple and have something pop up that tells us we have won the game.
Okay.
But we have to create that game object because unfortunately there's not a sprite in the system that says you caught all of the dogs.
Okay.
So I need you to hover over the cat at the bottom of the screen. Don't click it, just hover. And you'll see there's a paintbrush that popped up there, and we're gonna click the paintbrush, and that's gonna allow us to create a new game object.
Okay.
So we could use the text box, or we could use the paintbrush and write our win message.
I think we ought to use the text box because Cowboy Jack's not too good of an artist.
Okay, so click the text box and click out in the center of the workspace.
Okay.
And you're gonna type whatever message you want to show at the end of your game.
Let's see here. Whoops, I accidentally hit the Z button. You caught all of the cheesy puffs. Whoops, my typing's going off the screen here.
So we
Probably
can,
need to drag that over.
We
huh?
can. So use this tool right here, and you can grab the outside edge of it. There you go. And it's purple. I don't know if that's the color you want. You can see it shows up on our stage already. So if you can't read that, maybe change the color, or if you have a favorite color, you can change it by using the fill at the top.
We need something really bright. How about yellow?
You have to hit enter or click off of it. There you go.
Look at that. That's really cool.
So now we're gonna code where this object is invisible, and when we reach a certain score, it's gonna show us that object and stop all of the code in our game.
Okay.
So to code on this sprite, we simply switch back to our code at the top.
Okay.
And then if we would, can you guess what event we're gonna do?
If and then?
We're gonna use the flag block to start. If and then is our conditional loop, our conditional statement. Our events start our code. So you always are gonna start with an event anytime you're coding.
Okay.
So now we're gonna go into looks, and there's two blocks we want that are really tiny. They are the hide block and the show block. Looks is at the top.
Got it.
Scroll in.
Show and hide.
So we want it to hide or show at
Hide.
the beginning.
I
We
think
want
we
it to
need to hide
So
first.
drop hide out there. You can grab the show block and just set it out in space. We don't need it yet, but we
Okay.
will. Now there is a block for us to wait until, and that is gonna be in control. And
Wait.
it's not wait, but it's wait until, and it's got the pointy space.
I found it.
Perfect. We need another operator, another alligator symbol, and that is in
That-
operators. This one's gonna be opening to the left. It's the greater than symbol,
This one.
and we'll drop it in there. So this is kind of cool. When we created our variable, this program actually created a block called Cheesy Puff Wins. So we're gonna go into variables on the left and look for Cheesy Puff Wins. It's a
Okay.
round block, the very top
right
there,
here.
and drag that into the left side. So now we are comparing our Cheesy Puff Wins to 50. I will say that's
That's
gonna
a
take a
lot
while.
of cheesy puffs.
Yes, so let's go ahead and do
How about 5?
5's good. I will say it's a greater than block, not a greater than equal to block.
Okay.
So it's gonna wait until it's greater than 5. So your game will stop at 6. Would you like it to stop at 5? We'll put a 4.
Okay, well, let's do that.
Perfect. We'll add the show block underneath that. And the very last thing we're doing in our game, I know this has been quite the process, we're gonna go over to control and tell it to stop all code. So scroll until you see stop all. And that goes on there. And we can test our game out, but before we do, if you go to the far right, at the top, underneath where it says sign in, you can click the full screen control.
Okay.
See our whole game.
Now, you guys ready to see if Cowboy Jack the dog can get 5 cheesy puff wins?
Click it one more time.
Here we go. That's 1. That's 2. 3. 4. Uh-oh. Look at that. It says you caught all of the Cheesy Puffs. That's great. That was really, really fun.
I'm glad you think so.
So this is a Cowboy Jack video game that we made right here together. That's so cool that you taught us how to do that.
And this is what I do every day. I make video games with a bunch of kids.
Wow. Well, making video games, you know, it sounds like a lot of fun, but it's actually a lot of work. You have to know about if, then, when, stop, start, hide, show. I mean, there's a lot of different codes that you have to know. So it's not all fun and games. It's actually a lot of learning. But you don't even realize you're learning because it's encouraging you to learn, and you're trying to figure out how to make your video game even cooler.
That's right.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. This was fantastic.
You're so welcome.
All right. Hey, I've been hearing that 3D printer's still going. You think we could see?
Yeah, let's go check it out. Hopefully it's done.
Wow,
Oh, one of
look
them
at
is
that.
done. Our snowman. He's
Guys,
got a little string on the top of him.
Take a look at that snowman. He's all the way done printing now.
And
Wow.
Actually, take it off and you can take him home with you if you'd like.
Oh, wow, that'd be really neat.
Scrape it off. I actually glued it down so that it didn't slide around. Oh, and there he goes.
Wow,
So here's
look
your,
at this.
your snowman. You'll notice he has some weird parts on him. That's his supports. So the printer actually puts supports underneath any overhanging pieces.
Yeah, so we could actually take those right off.
You can break those off.
Whoop. Maybe. All right. Look at that. He's starting to look a whole lot like a real snowman. That's his scarf. Boy, look at that snowman. That is so cool. And we use computers to write the program to print this whole thing. That's so cool. Well, wow. I mean, when we came in, he was only about that much done. And by the time we finished our game with Cowboy Jack the dog catching the Cheesy Puffs, he was all the way done. And now he's this really cool little figure. 3D printing can be used for so many different things. That's really exciting. Wow. Well, see, 3D printers are really cool, but and there's all kinds of science and medical and agricultural and a lot of different uses for 3D printing. But at the end of the day, it all depends on coding. That's really neat.
It is cool. We have a snowflake here, but it's not quite finished. I printed something flatter so you could see the extruder kind of move across.
Wow, well, this machine also uses an X and Y axis, doesn't it?
It does. It actually uses an X, Y, and a Z axis.
That's right, because the Z axis would be the surface, the distance from the bottom of it all the way up to the where it's printing now. Wow, so this is a robot.
This is a robot.
And this is the controller. Look at this controller, that's so cool. So how do I drive him? I mean, this is the control right here.
So that's
look
the
at that.
control of his head, which way he's looking, so you could have him look at the camera or whatever.
Let me see
the
if
one
I
on
can
the
make him
left
do
controls
that.
where he moves.
He's looking right at you guys. Coming at you.
So we actually, as well as driving these during our break times, you can actually code these, but that's not what we're doing today. I'm just giving you a little break after your coding.
He is so cool. He's hard to control. I've never driven a robot before. Whoa, come over here, robot. Hey, we're running away from me.
You're a good backwards driver.
I am a really good backwards driver. I've been known for my backwards driving skills. Wow, do you guys think this robot is cool? He's doing all kinds of stuff. Let's see if I can get him to look at you again. Whoa, calm down, robot. Oh, he's just spinning his head. Poor guy.
While we're not coding him today, there's some things you could change on him through this program. You can change that and it's going to change the color of his lights.
Oh wow, look at that. Goes all the way from a pink, red, all these different colors, all the way back to really bright red. Wow.
And if you click this right here, you can change what his face looks like. You'll have to make him look at the camera though.
Whoop, let's look at the camera. Come on, robot. Oh, come on, buddy. Work with me.
You just drag it this way and just hold it. It's pretty sensitive, just controlling the robot. Sometimes we'll set up obstacle courses. We have a maze. Sometimes the kids will just set up cup towers and destroy them when their code is really frustrating them.
Well,
But yeah, that's our robot. We have a few of them.
robot coming at you guys. Look alive. I think he's trying to box y'all in. Look at that. Whoop, he's doing the loop-de-loop. Wow, that robot was so neat. Thanks for letting us play with it.
No problem.
That was so cool. See, coding is a lot of work on computers, but it's work on a lot of different devices too. We were controlling that robot with a tablet. Wow, cowboys and cowgirls, we've had so much fun today here at Code Ninjas in the Woodlands, Texas. If you're ever in the area, make sure to sign up for a class and you can come in and learn all about coding right here at the dojo with Sensai Allyson. This has been so much fun. Well, thank you for having me today, Sensei. Wait, should I bow to you since you're the Sensei?
You can.
I think I will. All right.
Do I bow back?
I think you bow back.
Okay.
All right. Well, this has been a great time. And like I said, check out Code Ninjas in the Woodlands. You can look at their website. We'll put a link to their website right at the bottom in the description of this video. And make sure to click subscribe to Cowboy Jack on YouTube so you can come along with us on all of our adventures. And parents, make sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram. We even do TikTok, but real importantly, we have t-shirts and we're on Cameo as well. And you can check us out on Patreon to learn extra behind the scene things about Cowboy Jack. So anyways, thanks for hanging out with me today. I'm glad you had a good time. And until next time, yeah!